Have you ever heard a song so catchy, so full of life, that you can't help but tap your feet? A song that's played at every celebration, every wedding, every joyful gathering in Sindh, Pakistan. That song is Ho Jamalo. But what if I told you that behind this infectious tune lies a breathtaking story of courage, a life-or-death gamble, and a prisoner who became a hero? This is the incredible true story of Jamalo Sheedi. Our story begins in the late 19th century. During the British Raj, the British were expanding their railway network across the Indian subcontinent, a massive feat of engineering that connected distant lands. One of the most ambitious projects was the Lansdowne Bridge, built over the mighty Indus River to connect the towns of Sukkur and Rory. Completed in 1889, it was a marvel of its time, one of the longest rigid girder bridges in the world. But it had one big problem. The bridge was so massive, and the Indus River below was so powerful and unpredictable, that no train driver was willing to be the first to cross it. Think about it. The engineers had done their calculations. The bridge was declared structurally sound, but the sheer sight of it was intimidating. The roar of the river, the immense steel structure stretching over the water, it was terrifying. The local train drivers, experienced as they were, refused. They were convinced the bridge would collapse under the train's weight, sending them plunging into the Indus. The British authorities were in a bind. Their multi-million rupee project, a symbol of their engineering prowess, was useless if no one would use it. They offered rewards, promotions, everything they could think of, but fear was a powerful deterrent. The project stalled. The local British officials were growing desperate. News of their predicament reached the nearby Sukkur Jail, and inside that jail was a man named Jamalo Sheedi. Jamalo wasn't an engineer or a railway official. He was a prisoner, serving a sentence for a crime we don't know the exact details of today. What we do know is that he was a man of incredible nerve and a certain disregard for danger. When he heard about the stalled bridge and the British dilemma, he saw an opportunity. Jamalo sent a message to the British authorities. He made them an offer they couldn't refuse, or rather, an offer so audacious they had to consider it. He said, "I will drive the first train across the Lansdowne Bridge," but his offer came with a condition, a big one. If he succeeded, if he made it to the other side alive, he wanted a full pardon. He wanted his freedom. Imagine the scene, the British officials faced with a choice. On one hand, they had their reputation and a very expensive, very useless bridge. On the other, they had a prisoner offering to risk his life for a chance at freedom. It was a gamble for everyone involved. For the British, if he failed, it would be a public disaster. For Jamalo, if he failed, it was certain death. After much deliberation, they agreed. What did they have to lose? If he died, he was just a prisoner. If he succeeded, their problem was solved. The day arrived, a huge crowd gathered on the banks of the Indus River. Word had spread like wildfire. Everyone wanted to see this daring act. Would the bridge hold? Would the prisoner survive? The atmosphere was electric with tension and anticipation. The train was prepared, its engine hissing steam, ready for the journey, and into the driver's cabin stepped Jamalo Sheedi. He wasn't a trained locomotive driver, but he was a man on a mission with freedom as his prize. He blew the whistle, a long, piercing sound that cut through the nervous silence of the crowd. The wheels began to turn, slowly at first, then gaining speed. The train chugged onto the Lansdowne Bridge. On the banks, people held their breath. Every eye was fixed on the lone train, inching its way across the massive steel structure. The bridge groaned and creaked under the immense weight, sounds that sent shivers down the spines of those watching. The river roared below, but Jamalo didn't hesitate. He kept the train moving forward, steady and determined. The journey must have felt like an eternity. He was alone, suspended between the sky and the churning water, his life hanging on the strength of steel girders and his own courage. Finally, after what seemed like forever, the train reached the other side. It had crossed the bridge. He had done it. The crowd erupted. A wave of cheers and jubilation swept through the onlookers. They couldn't believe their eyes. The impossible had been achieved. Jamalo Sheedi, the prisoner, had tamed the bridge. He had conquered their fears. His wife, who was waiting anxiously in the crowd, was overcome with joy and relief. In that moment of pure emotion, she began to sing. She sang a song of praise for her brave husband, a song of celebration for his heroic feat. She sang, "Ho Jamalo, Kathy Ao, Kersan," which translates to, "Oh my beloved Jamalo, you have returned victorious and safely." The crowd, caught up in the euphoria, joined in. They repeated the chorus, "Ho Jamalo, Ho Jamalo." The song was born right there on the banks of the Indus, a spontaneous outpouring of joy and admiration. True to their word, the British authorities granted Jamalo Sheedi his freedom. He walked out of jail a free man and a local legend. His story and the song it inspired became woven into the fabric of Sindhi culture. The song Ho Jamalo evolved from a personal tribute into a universal anthem of victory, celebration, and courage. Today, you'll hear Ho Jamalo everywhere. It's played at weddings when the groom's party arrives. It's sung at festivals. It's danced to at cultural events. It's a song that instantly brings a smile to people's faces. But now, when you hear that vibrant, energetic beat and the joyful chorus, you'll know the incredible story behind it. You'll remember the prisoner who risked everything for his freedom, the terrifying bridge over the Indus, and the moment a hero was born. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes the greatest legends aren't kings or generals, but ordinary people who do extraordinary things. The story of Jamalo Sheedi is a testament to the human spirit's desire for freedom and the courage it can inspire. The next time you hear Ho Jamalo, you won't just hear a song. You'll hear the echo of a train whistle, the roar of a river, and the cheer of a crowd celebrating a hero's return. Thank you so much for watching and sharing this piece of history with me. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next journey into the fascinating stories behind our world. Until next time, stay curious.